surgically enhanced to sound louder, better, bigger, because size really does matter. And everything's bigger in Texas.
99.5 FM K258BZ Sugarland and 99.5 FM K258DA Houston. Radio Debung is powered by Discount Power. Go to discountpowertx.com today. The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of RD Broadcasting LLC, Radio Debung 99.5 FM, or its affiliates. Individual programmers are responsible for their own content. If you have concerns regarding the following programming, please send an email to info@radiodebung.com.
Let's go! Bollywood entertainment, Bollywood gossip, Bollywood classics. Mujhko kya hua hai? To the latest hits. Local news and events happening around town. Giveaways and lots of masti. This is Namaste Radio.
Every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 99.5 FM with your hosts Vanshika, Sushil, and Dolly D.
Listen online at namasteradiohouston.com. Download the app, available on your Android and iPhone.
Namaste Radio.
Welcome to India House Houston. India House is a non-profit organization that serves the community by bringing resources, education, and services to Houstonians like health and fitness programs, language classes, charity clinic, and various events. Help the community now. Sponsor a program or volunteer for free food distribution at India House. Host your next indoor or outdoor events at India House facility, parties, weddings, or corporate events. Located centrally at 8888 West Belford, Houston. For details, call 713-929-1900 or visit indiahouseinc.org. Follow India House Houston on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Welcome. This is Namaste Radio. You are listening to us on 99.5 FM. You can always watch us in the studio on Namaste Radio's Facebook page and also listen to us on all our apps, on our website, namasteradiohouston.com, or just tell Alexa, hey Alexa, play Namaste Radio live. Welcome back. This is Vanshika. And with me today is Sandeep, and we are so thankful to India House for giving us this opportunity. This is the special series that we've been doing, and we did this last in the month of May, and now in July we brought this back to you. This is the mental health awareness show in Asian Americans, and this is in partnership with India House Houston, and we want to thank the sponsors Hawk Foundation for Mental Health and Asian American Health Coalition and Hope Clinic. Thank you so much for tuning in. If during this show, anytime you want to call us, participate in the show, please call us at 713-974-4000. Every week we try to bring, someone who can come and share things with us, a professional on mental health. It helps us. It'll definitely help you. They know all of this, so it's always good to talk to them. And today we have a very special guest in the studio. Her name is Dr. Sneha Desai. She is a licensed clinical psychologist. Before we welcome her, a little bit about her. Dr. Sneha Desai is a licensed clinical psychologist in Texas. When not working with her patients, she puts on her chef hat and provides home-cooked meals to customers all over Houston. Wow, this is amazing. In her free time, she dabbles with storytelling on stage and the radio, as well as acts in short skits and films. And I have seen her acting. Especially, there's one of my favorite, which I will mention during the show. I literally cried for an hour after that. Dr. Desai's little rescue dog and a superstar that he is, Koda, is a social media sensation and brings much joy to her and her husband on a daily basis. We will definitely ask her about the social media handles so that we all can go and follow him. I definitely do, but definitely go and follow him. And she is so creative when she put posts about Coda. So welcome, Dr. Sneha. We are so happy to have you in studio with us today.
Thank you so much. That was such a wonderful welcome.
Thank you. It has been, I've not known you in person, but we've met a couple of times and we've been in touch through social media and especially through Coda's social media handle. I feel I know you so well.
Aww.
And, Coda brings so much happiness to me. And if anybody wants to have that wow moment of the day, go see his posts. The way when you look at them, they are so beautiful and so much creativity goes, I'm sure, in putting those together. So congratulations on that and making him a social media sensation.
Thank you so much. Well, it's easy because he's a very easy dog. So, it's fun.
And whenever I especially meet parents who are so passionate about being a dog parent, hats off to you. And I myself is I'm a very proud and a very happy and blessed dog parent. So they bring so much happiness.
They do.
Right? So let's start. Again, thank you so much for taking out time and, joining us here on Namaste Radio on a very crucial topic. And this is the professional side of you, of course, who's... I didn't know that before I found out about, you being a psychologist. And I was like, wow, this is something that I want to know more about and, what you do. And definitely want to share that knowledge with our viewers, our listeners on air. So first, my first question always is that what, as per you, is mental health?
So mental health refers to just an overall well-being, cognitive well-being, emotional well-being, behavioral well-being. How do we think? That is cognitive. How do we act? That's behavioral. And how do we feel? That's emotional, right? So if we have good mental health, then we are kind of ready to deal with normal day-to-day life stressors.
Right.
But if we don't, then even the slightest traffic jam or being late to work or finding that your favorite pair of pants has torn in the dryer is going to lead to some kind of a meltdown or episode or something like that, right? But these are normal things. We should be able to deal with this in an okay manner.
Sure.
So the better your mental health, the more you're equipped to deal with stressors, even when the big stressors come around.
Perfect. Very beautifully put. So basically our responses make a lot of difference when we feel our mental health is in a better state.
Correct.
Perfect. And with today's and this show and this entire series, we want to focus mainly on Asian Americans. And the first thing I personally have always felt and said that mental health is kind of a taboo, and anytime people want to talk about mental health, sometimes as families also we've been like, no, please don't talk in front of anybody. There's a stigma attached to it that and the word which I don't like using but I would is because that's how we want to share that awareness is that, oh, even if somebody's sharing that I'm depressed, are ye to pagal hai. So tell us about that. How do you deal with those kind of things?
So I think that the Indian population, the South Asian population, and maybe the rest of Asia as well, has come a really long way in recognizing that depression, anxiety, all of these are more common than we know, and that it doesn't necessarily mean pagal. But I think that even as few as 10 years ago, a lot of people didn't know about this. And even now, the advocacy is still growing, so it's not widespread. But I think Bollywood movies has sensationalized, for entertainment purposes, there is a lot of exaggeration. And so in order for the entertainment value, when they ever showed any kind of mental health issues or mental illnesses, it would really be the drastic, extremely chronic ones like schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder, which now is called dissociative identity disorder. And so that's all that people were aware of, right? Because that's all they were exposed to. So I think the term pagal, which is crazy, came from there because they would show all these pagal people on TV. And so there was a very negative connotation to that. So everyone started to shy away from even asking for help because they did not want to be stigmatized. In the older days, there was a lot of electric shock therapy. That's what they showed on TV. Also, it's not as widely used anymore. And so, that's what you anticipate, that when you ask for help or when you say something in front of people, or if people have become aware that you are mentally ill, per se, then they will avoid you, they will stigmatize you, they will put you in another room, they will lock you up, they will send you for electric shock therapy. And so I think that's where the taboo came from, and it is taking a while, but things are definitely growing.
That's good.
Yeah, I definitely see that in my current workplace. I've only been there for a few weeks. It's a new job, but I have already seen so many South Asians approach me for day-to-day minor issues, which are definitely not pagal issues, but they really need the help because it's not something that we are equipped to deal with on our own.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, that is. Those are some good points that you brought forward. And when we are dealing with that situation, we never think why people have that. Why did that stigma connect to that topic overall? And very rightly said. So thank you for sharing that. Now, when we were talking about the show and kind of preparing for it, you have brought forward a very important topic, which I never thought. But of course, you being in that profession would that's why it's good to have people like you here who can actually guide us in the right direction. And when we're talking about mental health. So we all, sometimes when we, I would have any issue, I would talk to my friend or my mom. Considering a professional help is always kind of, baad mein karenge. But it is important. But over there also, I don't know a lot of, I don't know the right professional help. I don't know maybe what I'm going through, where do I go, who do I look to. So tell us about that, because you had some great, points to share about that.
Yeah, so there are many different types of mental health professionals, and I agree it can get very confusing. In fact, before I got into this field, I did not have much knowledge about all the different types. I did know that there was a thing called psychologist, just because psychology is offered as a major. And I also knew what a psychiatrist is, right? So these are the two main terms that I had heard, and I think they're more popular than the other terms. But a psychiatrist is somebody who can prescribe medication. They have a medical degree. They went to medical school and then they specialized in psychiatry. So when you go to a psychiatrist, you will most likely get a prescription. But you may not receive as much talk therapy, right? Quote unquote. So when you go to a psychologist, you will not get any medication because the psychologist went to school. They are also doctors, but they went to school for a PsyD, which is a doctor of psychology, or a PhD, which is a doctor of philosophy in psychology. And then there are so many different types. There's counseling psychology, there's clinical psychology, which is who I am, a clinical psychologist. So even within that field, there are so many different types. But for people like you and I who may experience anxiety or depression, go to a clinical psychologist. They will be able to assess you, use clinical interviews, use assessment tools to really figure out what your diagnosis may be and then treat you accordingly.
I see.
And then over and above that, there are social workers, there are counselors. Most social workers and counselors end up having a master's degree. They don't have a doctoral degree, so their training is a little different. There are also LMFTs, which is licensed marriage and family therapists, right? So in their masters, they primarily got trained on how to deal with couples and families as opposed to individual therapy. So there are just so many different types of training programs. And then there are social workers who really do a lot of case management, advocacy for children in foster care. Children in foster care may be mandated into therapy. So it's the social workers who may be helping them versus a psychiatrist or a psychologist, right?
see.
And then there are so many different settings. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but
But
this
it's
is
very important.
yeah, this is just a little snapshot, right? So that when you start a Google search, you know exactly what terms to type in to see if you are a good fit or not. Some psychologists work in hospital settings, so they are dealing with more of the chronic illnesses, someone who's hospitalized. Whereas for me, I work in an outpatient private practice. So people just come once a week, twice a month, depending on what their need is, for 50 minutes, and then they leave.
I see. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And another thing related to that was that, when is the right time for people to decide that, okay, now I need to seek a professional help versus still talking to, a friend or someone in the family, a husband? Tell us something about that.
Yeah, so that is a fantastic question, right? Because, depression and anxiety are clinical disorders. We all feel sad. We all feel anxious. And just because we feel sad doesn't necessarily mean we have depression. Just because I'm crying doesn't mean that I am having some kind of an episode of depression.
Right.
These are normal emotions. We all have them. But when they get to a certain point, you have to ask yourself, is this disrupting my daily functioning? Do I have trouble getting out of bed, or am I having trouble focusing at work? Is it affecting my relationships? Am I not finding joy in the things that I normally used to? And is this happening over a period of time? If it is happening for multiple days, for weeks, for months, then you know that something clinical is going on. This is not a regular, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling anxious situation. When clients come to us, we look at three things to figure out whether this is a normal or clinical. We look at intensity, frequency, and consistency. So if the emotions are of a certain intensity, then we know that something's going on. But that's not enough. Frequency, right? I may cry a lot, but if I'm crying a lot only once in 4 months, that's not clinical depression either, right? So the intensity is high, but the frequency is not. Or then consistency. Am I only crying in a particular situation? Am I only crying at work? Or am I only crying at home? Or am I feeling sad everywhere that I'm going? If the feeling is consistent, even though, let's say, I have a really bad time at work, I have a terrible boss, it still is going to affect me outside of work.
Right.
If it has gotten into a clinical point, right?
Absolutely.
So these are things that we think about. But at the other end, what everyone else should be thinking about is, how much is this affecting me? Is talking helping me overall? Or is it just a Band-Aid approach when I talk to my spouse or my parent? If you feel good for a little while, great. But if the feeling's going to come back, then something deeper is going on.
And that's the time that we need to seek help.
Exactly.
From a professional.
Yes. I mean, think about it. When you're driving a car, if it makes a certain sound and you find a screw loose somewhere, you'll fix it. It's gone. But if it keeps happening over and over again, you will say, let me go show this to a mechanic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
That's a
So-
great example, actually. Yeah, that is. And again, at this point, I want to make sure that if you're listening to us, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, please feel free to call if you want to share something. Dr. Sneha was very kind to say yes, that, if somebody wants to talk to her on air also. And of course, she can always share her, information with you if you want to. Otherwise, go see her personally also. Our studio number is 713-974-4000. I'll repeat that, 713-974-4000. Now, Dr. Sneha, the other thing we always think is that when we are looking for professional help, the other thing that comes to anyone's mind is the cost. Now, I would feel, and I didn't know this, that this could be a part of any kind of plan or healthcare plan. I still think that I have to pay every session, and it's like thousands of dollars, and I guess people shy away from it then at times. But you had a totally different information for us. Please tell us about that.
So there are a lot of professionals who will only take cash or credit card, payment by credit card. But overall, your insurance, if you do have health insurance, most health insurance plans have mental health benefits, which is not readily advertised. It's not something that you read about when you're signing those contract forms. So the best thing would be to call your insurance company and ask them what your mental health benefits are. Most people that I have treated have amazing mental health benefits. So they only end up paying a copay, just like when you go to your physical therapist or your general physician, you end up paying 25, 40, whatever, right?
The copay.
Yeah, your plan is. It's exactly the same with us. Again, it depends on your plan, right? So sometimes you may have a deductible, all of that. So your insurance company will be able to help you. Now, you may look online and find a doctor that you really, really like, but they may not take your insurance.
Yeah.
Don't shy away from calling them, because there are out-of-network benefits and in-network benefits. So you may sometimes be paying, like, let's say, and it's not thousands of dollars. At the most, it will be $200 per session. And that's at the most. It could be as low as $75.
Wow.
There are clinics out there that also have a sliding fee scale. So if you don't make enough money, they will determine what your payment is based on how much money you made last year. Okay. So there are sliding fee scale clinics. The average is 100 to 200. And you may end up paying $175, let's say, but you may have out-of-network benefits, which means that then if you go submit your receipt to the insurance, they will reimburse you. So there is an option like that as well. Then a lot of good organizations and corporations also have EAP benefits. You will have a therapist on site. Oh, and when I use the word therapist, I mean it could be any one of those social workers, counselors, psychologists, right? So all psychologists are therapists, but not all therapists are psychologists.
Sure.
So your workplace may already have a therapist, and there will be limited sessions, so you can go for 3 times or 5 times, and then they will have to refer you to somebody else. But for a lot of people, only 3 times could be enough.
Sure.
Just because you walk into a therapist's office doesn't mean that you're going to be in therapy for years and years and years. Sometimes we experience a crisis situation and we need help right away.
That's true.
So look at EAP benefits and see what your organization has. If you work for a big corporation, if you're a university student, there are university counseling centers on campus that not a lot of people know about. Your student service fee has already paid for these services. So you're just walking in. Sometimes there's a little fee, like $10 per session or something, but it's very minimal. When I used to work at the University of Houston, at their counseling center, the students there had 10 free sessions per year.
Oh, wow.
And after that, they had to pay $10 per session, which is completely affordable. So even if you use up your 10 sessions in 3 months, it's still completely affordable.
Absolutely.
And they don't advertise these services enough, or they do, but we don't pay attention, right? Because we never think that we are going to need this help.
And I was about to ask you that in your, like when you were with them, did you see a lot of students use it?
Yes, my schedule was filled. I would get there at 8 o'clock. My first session would start at 9 and I would get out at 5.
Wow.
And I would say I hardly had a couple hours free. We did have a lunch hour, but apart from that, I hardly had a couple hours free every week.
Wow. Wow, that's a huge number there then. Yeah. And I think in today's time, it could be home, it could be a relationship, it could be work, anything. And especially with the, keeping up with the society, the job and everything. Like, it's like people go through a lot of stress. And somewhere or the other, all of us sometimes do need some kind of therapy. I look at it like at least I want to talk to someone who's outside my life, my box, so I can see things clearer.
Yeah, so, mental health, a lot of people think about that as an absence of a mental disorder. But for me, it's not as black and white. It's an ongoing process. It's something that we have to work on constantly, just like we work on our physical health, right? We ought to. I know I don't do that, but you need to drink 8 glasses of water, right? You need to exercise at least 20 minutes a day. 3 times a week is what's recommended, right? That's the minimum.
Yes.
You're supposed to eat a certain way, all of that. And that helps us stay physically healthy. Even if nothing's wrong with us right now, in the long run, that's going to help us. Mental health is exactly the same way. We don't have to wait until something is wrong or we have a crisis situation. It's okay to go once in a while to a therapist. Everyone can benefit from therapy, no matter what race, no matter what age, gender, socioeconomic status, which country you come from. Everyone can benefit from therapy and have that neutral, objective, non-judgmental individual who's going to guide you through your life's stressors.
Wonderful. Beautifully said over there. And like Dr. Sneha said, work on your mental health. It's not a one-day thing. You have to keep it healthy. So work towards it. And she mentioned about all the guidance and everyone that you can reach out to. She also mentioned about, health insurance plans that include this, your job, your college. So take advantage when we have guest speakers, when we have professionals who know so much about this topic. Take advantage of this. And on this note, we will take a quick break. And again, we want to thank India House Houston for partnering with us on this show and selecting us for this show, actually. And thanking Hog Foundation and Asian American Health Coalition. Stay tuned, stay there, because we are coming back very soon and talking to Dr. Sneha Desai.
Let's go! Bollywood entertainment, Bollywood gossip, Bollywood classics. To the latest hits. Local news and events happening around town. Giveaways and lots of musti. This is Namaste Radio.
Every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 99.5 FM with your hosts Vanshika, Sushil, and Dolly D.
Listen online at namasteradiohouston.com. Download the app, available on your Android and iPhone.
Namaste Radio.
Welcome to India House Houston. India House is a non-profit organization that serves the community by bringing resources, education, and services to Houstonians like health and fitness programs, language classes, charity clinic, and various events. Help the community now. Sponsor a program or volunteer for free food distribution at India House. Host your next indoor or outdoor events at India House facility, parties, weddings, or corporate events. Located centrally at 8888 West Belford, Houston. For details, call 713-929-1900 or visit indiahouseinc.org. Follow India House Houston on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Welcome back. This is Namaste Radio. मैं हूँ Vanshika, and with me I have Sandeep. And today we are here talking about mental health awareness in Asian Americans with Dr. Sneha Desai. So, Dr. Sneha, how are you liking the show so far?
I'm loving it. I hope that the audience is enjoying it and really taking down some notes and making use of the tips that I'm sharing with them.
Absolutely. We are enjoying it. I know my head is like nodding pura time. I'm seeing Sandeep, and we also have another visitor here, but who's not on camera and on mic. That's Sid, Dr. Sneha's husband. So thank you so much for stopping by and, supporting her and us here. So, like she said, taking notes, and if you by chance are driving and maybe not taking notes, you can always see this video on Namaste Radio's Facebook page. We'll have the podcast out on Monday and also have the video uploaded on our YouTube channel on Namaste Radio. So there is no excuse, guys, that, I didn't get to see it. We don't leave an excuse. So you have to see it, take notes, and take advantage of all the knowledge that she's sharing with us today. So moving forward, my next question to you is for mental health. What are some, other activities? You said, it's a work in progress. And we have to take care of it, even though we feel perfect about it. I may be feeling perfect about my mental health right now, my physical health, but it's a work in progress. So what are some other activities, things that we need to do, just other than seeking help from a professional or for mental health overall?
So the body and the mind are connected, right? So if your body is not feeling good, if you have a fever, your stomach's hurting, you're not going to feel good mentally. You're not going to be able to enjoy the movie that you're watching or talk to your friend, right? You just want to curl up in bed. And likewise, when you're mentally not feeling good, you're crying, your head's hurting, you've tensed up your muscles. So your body is now affected and not feeling good. So first and foremost, these cannot be in isolation, and everyone needs to know that. So you have to take care of your body as well. So make sure you exercise, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're not using drugs and alcohol to cope. When you were asking me, when do we know that it's time to go to a professional? A lot of times we end up using the wrong methods to cope with it, right? A lot of times you may call a friend and say, I'm not feeling good. And they may say, oh, come on, let's just go out for drinks. You'll be fine, right? Yeah. It doesn't work that way. So when you're starting to use wrong coping mechanisms, when you're starting to take sleeping pills to fall asleep, drugs, alcohol, all that is eventually only going to be a Band-Aid approach. It's going to help overnight, just for one night or one day, but then you're going to go back to the same state of mind. So make sure that you're taking care of forming good habits and not becoming addicted to certain coping skills, everything in moderation, right? You also need to take time away from issues if possible, right? I cannot take time away from a toxic work environment, but you need to take time away from whatever issues you're facing. So, if a friend, for example, is a toxic friendship, it's okay to distance yourself and take some time to introspect and to see really what about that situation's bothering you, right? So take some time. Don't just distract yourself. Don't just think, I'm going to think happy thoughts and everything's going to be fine, because it's all going to come back the next day, right? Yoga, meditation, that is a huge part of our Desi culture. Right. So definitely use that. Meditation is very difficult, right? So a lot of people, they say, I tried it, it didn't work for me. That is also work in progress. You have to try for many weeks until you master it, right? So these are, once again, positive habits that we need to develop, deep breathing, things like that. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to go to therapy. You may go to a support group. And right now with the pandemic, there are so many virtual groups, right? So you don't even have to physically drive somewhere. You can just attend a virtual group online. The place that I work at have 3 different groups going on right now in the summer and the fall. So they may not necessarily want to go see somebody individually because it may be nerve-wracking. Go to a group and find like-minded people who are also struggling with the same issues, and you won't feel alone.
Right.
Pets. Obviously, I'm going to talk about pets, but pets make a huge difference in your world. It has been proven. There are scientific studies that have been done where if you pet the dog or a cat's fur for a certain number of minutes, it decreases your blood pressure. In fact, some nursing homes even have a pet therapy room. They have a pet on site, and the pet is in that room. So whenever anyone needs that, they can go into that room, they can reserve the room and stay in that room to pet the dog or the cat. At my previous workplace and pre-COVID, this was pre-COVID times, I used to take Coda to work every single day.
Aww.
And he is, his personalities, it's so calm. Anyone who's met him can validate that. But his personality is very calm. He was very, very well-behaved and friendly. So if people did not like dogs, he would not even approach them. I had trained him to just stay in his little teepee at work. And only if I said, Coda, come say hello, he would come out and sit by their feet. So if they want to pet him, they can. If they don't pet him right away, he would immediately go back into his teepee and just wait there until the next person came around. If the person started crying, he would immediately go up to them again. In case they wanted to pet him.
So beautiful.
Yes, and I think that I became extremely popular because of Coda, because a lot of teenagers and children who are nervous to opened up right away. And we would just get on the floor. It was a completely casual setting. All three of us would be on the floor, petting Coda at the same time, and do our 15-minute session on the floor. But it just came so naturally. It was such a beautiful process. If people were allergic, I would put him in another room, and he was completely okay doing that as well. And I became the doctor with the dog. So a lot of times people would call and they would be like, we want to make an appointment with the doctor who has the dog. They wouldn't even know my name. And so it's just a very beautiful example of how if you do have a pet, you don't have to run out and get a pet. But if you do have a pet, make use of your pet.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, and I'll share this on air. I had a very bad anxiety attack maybe 2 weeks back, and every day Simba is like a therapy. That's my dog's name. He's 1 year old, and I just couldn't focus, and I was just super stressed, and I was driving back to work, and I was in such a state of mind that I actually almost met with an accident, but nothing really happened, but I just couldn't focus, but I just wanted to reach home, And I went home. He was, he comes running. And that's the most beautiful part of our days, like my husband and me, when you go home and he comes running to you at the door and he smiles. Simba has a huge smile. So he came running, and then I just dropped my purse. I just sat down, and he just came sat, and I hugged him for like probably 10-15 minutes. And I was like, perfect after that. I was like, that was like, I think I got over stressed for a small thing, and then I took care of it and everything was fine. So, and this has happened quite a lot of times, especially during COVID. It was a very stressful period, and so many times Simba has helped me do that. He doesn't probably know about it, but he's more of, he helps me more than I probably help him. And I totally agree with you when you say that, having a pet, it could be a dog or a cat or whoever, even a parrot in the house, right? They make your life so beautiful, and they change a lot and get so much positivity in your life.
Absolutely. I have seen it firsthand at work. Even people who would come in with anger issues, right? Because I will have some people who will come in and loudly cuss or shout and scream. They're not mad at me, but they're just mad about the life that they're leading in general and start cussing. And then Coda would immediately get up, and then they would say, we're so sorry, Coda, and immediately calm down.
Wow.
And I think that kind of taught them that they are capable of bringing their anger down right away, which they didn't know that was possible. Because when a human told them, calm down, it didn't help. But when the dog suddenly got up, they were like, okay, well, something's really off here. I want to calm down for the sake of the dog.
Wow. And on this note, since we've mentioned about Koda and he's such a big, social media sensation, would you like to share where people can follow him on social media so that at least they can go check out his picture and feel that calmness already?
Well, so he is right now a TikTok sensation.
Wow.
So his TikTok handle is Koda the Canine Yoda, Koda.
Wow.
The canine, Canine, Yoda, because his ears go out horizontal like Yoda's. And that's why he's Koda the Canine Yoda. And he's the same on Instagram as well.
Koda the Canine Yoda. Go follow him and you will know what we're talking about, because and thanks to you also, you take so much time and creativity in putting those together. And really, it's beautiful. So go check it out and let us know if what you think about. And I'll share that feedback with Dr. Sneha and follow and let her know directly probably. But now, yes, talking about more on mental health. Another topic that we wanted to discuss was that you practice and then you see patients, so many patients. What kind of issues or presenting problems are you addressing these days with keeping everything in mind, even COVID and all of that?
Yeah, so I started working at Sugarland Counseling Center just a few weeks ago. And because Sugarland is where most of the Desis in Houston live, and a lot of Asian Americans live there, in the last few weeks, I have seen a lot of racial diversity. My previous workplace was in Clear Lake, close to NASA, so I did not have as much racial diversity there as I do now. And I see people from all walks of life. Back in Clear Lake, I did see a lot of people who worked at NASA come to me. And not all of them, but a lot of them. And pre-COVID, I used to see a lot of teenagers and children as well. Due to COVID, now I'm solely virtual until the end of the year. So I'm not doing as much work with children and teenagers, but there are lots of therapists at Sugarland Counseling Center that are virtual and doing face-to-face therapy. So they are dealing with that population. But I see people of all ages, all races, all socioeconomic status. We see a lot of couples as well, a lot of family conflict. One thing that I have noticed because of the pandemic is that people who did have social anxiety, they were afraid to go out in public or do certain things. They benefited from the pandemic because, hey, everyone's home. I don't have to do anything. I can do my grocery shopping online and get it delivered. I can get my food delivered. So there was not much interaction. But now things are opening back up. So a lot of social anxiety is going through the roof now. So a lot of people are coming back because they don't know how to get adjusted to the new world. Also the world of work. So how do I get back into work? I'm afraid. I have a lot of fears. Am I going to get the virus, right? So these are a lot of issues, but there are also the same issues that we've always faced, right? That we are seeing right now. And it goes to say that no matter what's happening in the world around us, internally, a lot of things don't change, right? Some factors around us can affect how we deal with things internally, but the world is constantly evolving. So we are also constantly evolving, and we need help because when things rapidly evolve, we don't have that kind of insight. We were not born with a manual.
I see. Okay. And do we have a call? They wanted your information, which we will be also giving out live on air, so that if anybody wants to benefit by meeting you in person and getting an appointment, that's the whole purpose of our show, because at the end of the day, we want people to come forward and take advantage of what we are talking here right now. So before we get into those details, let's talk about some resources, and that is one place that I want you to include your number, how they can get in touch with you for an appointment, and through your clinic directly. Please go ahead and share that.
Okay, so like I said, I work at Sugarland Counseling Center. It is located at 16400 Kensington Drive, Sugarland. It's right by Highway 6 and 59. And the number is 832-876-3232. What I love about this place is that they also are very tech savvy. So if you want to request an appointment, you don't necessarily have to make a phone call. You can do it through the client portal online. And you can, everyone's profile. We have a ton of therapists there. Everyone's profile is online, so you can go look at everyone's profile to see who is the right fit, because finding the right therapist is as important as finding the right job or the right life partner. This is a person that you're going to be talking to about the innermost secrets that you have, your deepest troubles. You want to have a really good alliance. There are so many different types of therapists. As you read through the bios, it may get confusing because people will throw in jargon words in there like, oh, I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist, I do DBT, I do interpersonal therapy. Ultimately, you don't want to worry about all those terms. Leave those to us, the professionals. Worry about your relationship. They've done so much research to see which is the most effective type of therapy, and they found that the factor that is the most important is the relationship between the therapist and you.
Perfect.
Okay, so my bio is on there, so people are welcome to go read my bio to see if I'm a good fit. They can request an appointment with me through the client portal. They can see what openings I have. Same with any other therapist, and insert themselves there. And then the office manager will contact them to get the documents, the insurance card, all of that, right? That's just logistics.
Sure.
But once you're in, you're in. And I think it's a very user-friendly approach to getting an appointment.
Perfect. And can you give the name and the number one more time?
Sure thing. It's Sugarland, Sugarland Counseling Center. The number is 832-876-3232. And it's located at 16400 Kensington Drive, Sugarland, 77479.
There you go, everyone. That's how you can actually meet and get an appointment with Dr. Sneha Desai. And talk to her, meet her. And if you want to follow Koda, again, it was Koda the Canine Yoda. Do you think Koda misses his patients?
Oh, he does. So right now, even with virtual therapy, I have a lot of clients who are actually sitting there with their dogs. And obviously that gets me very excited. So then over the computer, we are showing off our dogs to each other. And some of my patients who've been seeing me for the last 10 years off and on, they've grown up with me, right? I started seeing them when they were in 6th grade and now they're in college. Koda's with me for the last 6 years, but they've also seen Koda right from day one since I got him. And they will constantly ask about Koda. Like sometimes they'll pick up the phone or on the computer, they'll be like, how's Koda? Instead of, how are you? And I'm like, okay, I get who's the important person here.
Well, I get that from my parents every time. My dad literally walks in and he'll be like, Simba, Simba. I'm like, maybe who? But on that note, I also want to share Hope Clinic's number, because you can always reach out to them and more resources are always good. 713-773-0803, extension 196 or 258. That's the behavioral department. They have different therapists you can reach out to, talk to them, and also visit OK2Say. That is a Texas-based public awareness campaign initiated by the Meadows Mental Health Policy Institute and supported by the Hackett Center for Mental Health. So follow them at OKAY2Say on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and reach out to them. And of course, India House Houston. I better not forget them. India House Houston has different doctors working with them, but specifically they have Deepthi Patel. She does relationship coaching, so definitely reach out to her. Those sessions are free if you want to, and you can visit India House Inc. inc.org or call them at 713-929-1900 for getting those appointments. And now, Dr. Sneha, before we let you go today, and I must tell you, I really enjoyed this chat with you. It's almost an hour, and it's when we are having these deep, great conversations, time just flies. You shared some great insights. Thank you so much again for all of that. And before we let you go today, tell us, is there something that you want to share with the people who are listening to you right now?
Sure. I will say, don't be scared. Don't be nervous. Therapy is completely confidential. A lot of people are scared that it will get on their insurance, or the information will get to the government and their immigration will be affected. Mm-hmm. Nothing like that happens. Even if you came to me for therapy, which you can't because we have a relationship outside of therapy, and let's say your husband called and said, did she make it to her appointment? I would not even be able to share that information. You would have to sign a form for me to have a conversation with anybody else about the fact that you even walked into my clinic or saw me. So please, everyone, whoever is scared and think that everyone's going to find out about you being in therapy, you don't have to worry about that.
Absolutely.
We are trained in being non-judgmental. So don't worry about us judging you when you come. We did not go to school for 10 years to simply judge you, right? We definitely are going to use a completely non-judgmental approach. So make that phone call, do your Google search, and get that help.
Absolutely. And on this note, I also want to tell everybody again, which I had mentioned in the, just the beginning of the show. She actually, also does acting, Dr. Sneha. And I've seen so many, mini short series that you do. And the one that I was saying that I cried was the one that you play a wife to an abusive husband. Mm-hmm. I think Faiz was there with you acting, right? And that really kind of touched my heart, and the way you acted, it was very nice and very the emotions were bang on. And is there a way where they can go and check out some of the videos?
So that video is on YouTube, on Dil Ki Baat's channel. And if you just put Raksha Bandhan and Dil Ki Baat, I think that video will show up.
And right around, Raksha Bandhan's right around. So time to resurface that video. And Sandeep's eyes are rolling because anytime I talk about Raksha Bandhan, it's like, oh my gosh, she's going to ask me for a gift now.
Of course.
So
you should.
But about that video, it was... some people go through that, and it was a very nicely put together, the emotions via brother and the sister relationship. So congratulations for so many things you do, and you keep yourself busy. And now about your cooking skills, the last thing I wanted to touch on. So you've been cooking a lot, right? Yesterday or day before, I saw all the orders, the list you had put on Facebook.
43.
Oh, wow.
43 dishes. I was cooking all day. Yes. In fact, my husband was asking me, he's like, are you sure you're going to be done? And I was like, I'm going to make it happen. But yes, I did get to it. I'm a chef on Chef, SHEF. And it's a wonderful platform for home cooks to be able to share their cooking and their passion with a lot of people. So check it out.
So all they need to go on SHEF Chef and just look for you, right? And all the dishes that they want. So do you do veg and non-veg?
I cook vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. In Houston, delivery days are Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. But you do have to place your order 48 hours in advance. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
So many things. You see how she's keeping herself busy.
I love it.
So, Sid को time मिलता है नहीं मिलता है?
A little bit, yeah. Mental health, everything in moderation. So, yeah.
I like that. But he's a good, supportive husband, right?
He is. Like, he went out to the grocery store twice when I had that major order. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was very supportive of him. And sometimes he does the dishes.
And that's all it is. It takes, you and your spouse to, run that smoothly. And during COVID, I know I saw so many TikTok videos, and of course she was acting, and Koda was acting, but we had a third actor, which was Sid acting, and some really funny videos. So who directs these videos?
I do. I write the story out. I direct them. I figure out where the pause needs to happen. We've had a lot of arguments because he's super camera shy and not very comfortable. So we've had to do so many retakes with him. With Koda, it's just one take and we're done.
He's a pro.
Yes, yes. But speaking of TikTok, people laugh sometimes when I say that I'm on TikTok, but TikTok was my coping skill during the pandemic because I am an extrovert and I like hanging out with people and I love acting. And obviously, we couldn't be acting during the pandemic. Even now, I would love to, but I'm a little careful on set because not everyone may be vaccinated or safe or social distancing or whatever, we want them to do. So TikTok has been my outlet as well. So even a small app like TikTok was a major coping skill for me and kept me mentally healthy during the pandemic.
Wonderful, and I totally agree. We sometimes put together some TikTok videos and it's nice and it's fun, just putting it together. It's a lot of fun and kind of stimulates your mind more, and then, you feel very content about it. But at this point, we come to an end to today's show. And again, we are so thankful to Dr. Sneha Desai for taking out time, coming here in studio, talking to us, sharing great insights. I loved the show today. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I loved being here and I'm happy to help in whatever way I can.
Absolutely. This is definitely the first time, but not the last time. We will have her back here very soon. So thank you again, and thank you to all of y'all for listening to us, watching us on Facebook Live. I saw the numbers were up the entire time. Thank you so much. The podcast will be out on Monday. Follow Namaste Radio on Facebook, Instagram, India House Houston on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And again, we want to thank India House Houston for giving us this opportunity for this show, and to Hawk Foundation and Asian American Health Coalition for sponsoring this series. The best way you can reach out to for anything in India House is India House Inc. That's indiahouseinc.org. Thank you so much. We will be back next Saturday at 10 a.m. on 99.5 FM, Namaste Radio's Facebook Live, on Namaste Radio's app, namasteradiohouston.com, and of course on Alexa. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And thank you so much, Dr. Sneha.
You're welcome.
Have a good weekend.